Many families notice a quiet change in someone they love, but they worry it might be something serious. I'm Dr. Tom, and in my years working with older adults, I've seen how easily these early warnings are misunderstood. Most people expect early dementia signs to be loud, dramatic memory loss, or major confusion. The clinical reality is entirely different. The brain sends very quiet warning signals long before basic memory fails. Today, we are going to explain the 7 early memory changes seniors often ignore. By the end of this episode, you will learn the exact difference between normal aging and cognitive decline, and you will discover interventions that can significantly protect the brain. Stay with me through all 7 signs, because the 6th sign, a sudden shift in mood, is the one most families completely miss. If you are watching this because you are worried about a loved one, you are not alone. Please share your experience in the comments below. Your story might help another family realize what they are seeing. Let's begin. The first, and perhaps most misunderstood sign, is a highly specific type of memory failure. We all occasionally forget a name or misplace our keys. That is normal aging. But when a senior asks the same question multiple times in a single afternoon and has absolutely no recollection of the previous answers, that is a clinical red flag. Consider Margaret, age 72. She frequently asks when her daughter is visiting, receives the answer, and asks again 5 minutes later. Her brain is not just distracted, it is fundamentally failing to record the event. This happens because the hippocampus, the brain's memory encoder, is being damaged. In early dementia, amyloid plaques can build up in this area, physically disrupting electrical pathways. The memory is not lost, it was simply never created. If you notice this pattern, start a simple log of the dates and specific repetitions to provide objective data to a physician. If you find this kind of information useful, the kind your doctor doesn't always have time to explain, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell. We release new episodes every week specifically for adults over 60 who want real answers, not just reassurance. This community is growing, and your presence here matters. The second sign moves beyond simple memory and into executive function, a sudden difficulty completing familiar, multi-step tasks. People often blame this on getting rusty or the natural slowing down of age. But if a senior who has cooked a signature family recipe for decades suddenly gets lost in the steps, leaving out key ingredients or repeating actions, it points to a deeper neurological breakdown. The brain's prefrontal cortex, which manages sequencing and working memory, is failing to maintain the order of operations. The person knows what they want to achieve, but the mental bridge required to execute the steps has collapsed. The action here is not to criticize or take over forcefully, but to quietly simplify daily routines. Create clear written checklists for complex tasks, and gently guide them through processes one step at a time to reduce their cognitive stress. The third sign is a subtle breakdown in language and communication. It is normal to experience a tip-of-the-tongue moment occasionally. However, consistently struggling to find common words, substituting incorrect words, or giving vague, circular answers is different. A senior might rely heavily on phrases like, "that thing," or, "you know what I mean." Families often miss this, attributing it to hearing loss or assuming the person is just talking less. Clinically, this indicates damage to the semantic memory networks, which store the meanings of words and concepts. The pathways become blocked by cellular damage. Furthermore, you might notice the senior relying heavily on a spouse to finish sentences or answer questions, which is a coping mechanism to mask these cognitive gaps. When this happens, give the person plenty of time to speak. Do not rush to fill the silence, as this only increases their anxiety and cognitive load. If you've noticed this in someone you love, share it below. Your experience might be exactly what another family needs to hear right now. The fourth sign is one of the most frightening: getting lost or profoundly disoriented in familiar places. We are not talking about taking a wrong turn in a new city. This is driving to the local pharmacy, a route taken for 40 years, and suddenly having no idea where you are or how to get home. Families often assume this is a general memory issue, but it is actually a highly specific failure of the entorhinal cortex, which acts as the brain's internal GPS system. In early Alzheimer's disease, pathological proteins called tau tangles damage the grid cells within this region. The brain's internal map literally fails to align with visual landmarks in the real world, triggering sudden disorientation and panic. If this occurs, enable location sharing on their smartphone immediately, keep a contact card in their wallet, and request a cognitive screening that evaluates spatial reasoning. The fifth sign involves poor judgment and a decline in decision-making abilities. You might notice unusual, uncharacteristic decisions regarding money, personal safety, or self-care. A senior who was previously frugal might suddenly give large amounts of money to telemarketers, or someone who was always cautious might leave the stove on or the front door wide open. This happens because the frontal lobes, which govern logic, impulse control, and risk assessment, are deteriorating. The brain loses its ability to project consequences into the future. This makes them incredibly vulnerable to scams and accidents. To protect them, families must proactively but respectfully monitor finances, set up banking alerts for large transactions, and gently introduce safeguards to prevent catastrophic financial or physical harm. The sixth sign is often the most tragic because it is so frequently misdiagnosed: a profound shift in mood, personality, or behavior, specifically presenting as apathy and social withdrawal. A senior might stop attending their weekly card games or decline invitations to family dinners, claiming they are simply too tired. Families and even doctors might assume this is depression or the grumpiness of old age. The clinical reality is that group conversations require immense, rapid brain processing to track multiple words, tones, and facial expressions simultaneously. As the brain's processing speed drops, socializing requires extreme mental energy. Apathy is the brain's defense mechanism against this overwhelming cognitive fatigue. They are not losing interest in their loved ones. They are exhausted. To support them, change the environment. Engage them in small, quiet settings with only one or two people, and focus on a single topic at a time to drastically reduce their sensory overload. The seventh and final early sign involves unexplained visual and spatial difficulties, often manifesting as changes in personal hygiene or physical coordination. A senior known for their immaculate appearance might wear the same unwashed clothes for a week, or they might start tripping over curbs despite having a perfectly healthy vision prescription. People dismiss this as age-related vision loss or laziness, completely missing the neurological origin. Visual processing involves the occipital and parietal lobes. As dementia progresses, the brain loses its ability to process contrast and depth perception. The senior can physically see the curb, but their brain cannot calculate how far away it is. Similarly, grooming is an executive function task. They cannot sequence the steps of washing and dressing. You can help by improving contrast in their living environment. Use brightly colored tape on the edges of steps and ensure excellent lighting throughout the house to eliminate confusing shadows. Recognizing these 7 signs early is absolutely critical. Many symptoms that look exactly like dementia are actually entirely treatable conditions. Vitamin B12 deficiency, severe sleep apnea, thyroid imbalances, or even urinary tract infections can cause profound cognitive confusion that mimics early Alzheimer's. A comprehensive medical evaluation can identify and treat these reversible issues, potentially restoring the senior's cognitive function and confidence. Do not wait for a crisis to start the conversation. If this episode helped you understand what you've been seeing, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. And tell me in the comments, which of these signs have you noticed? Your story might help another family realize what they're looking at. This video is for educational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor.